If you want to keep some things secure and access them quickly, you should check out this. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. I am sitting here with this new safe that I got, and it has surprised me in many ways, even though I have just started to look this over. So I want to share this with you because this is a security case from V-Line. I don't know what that stands for, but they make a bunch of security cases and safes. But this is like an under desk, under tabletop security safe, and so you can place this somewhere where you're not necessarily going to see it, little under the carriage, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe you have a desk or something where you need to keep something safe but quickly accessible, then you should check this out. Now, this safe here is actually pretty big. It's almost the size of an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper here. I thought this would be a much thinner type of steel, kind of like those little lock boxes that you buy for the car that has a cable on it. You know, they're kind of thin metal, and sometimes I feel like with a really strong screwdriver you could kind of pry it up, but this thing is pretty massive. In fact, it's quite heavy, and this is not all of it. It came with some other stuff here that I want to show you. I've kind of broken it down here because it's actually really impressive. So some pretty hard, thick steel here. In fact, I believe this qualifies in most states where you have to have certain things locked up, that this meets those minimum security requirements. And it has a nice powder coated finish here, all in black. I mean, it seems very robust, and right out of the gate I would look at this and say, man, I'm pretty impressed with this. Now, the things that really impressed me with this, and the things that you have to be warned about, is that it opens in a certain way. It has a certain kind of lock. It might actually be blocked under some circumstances, so you got to be careful about how you install it. And it comes with this mounting plate, which was already installed, as well as a drawer inside, which you don't necessarily need, but I want to show them all to you, and so let's take a close look at it now. Alright, so like I said, this V-Line has actually impressed me. Like, you can see just how big it is, you know, compared to my hand here. You're going to be able to fit a decent amount of stuff in it, including most of the accessories that you need. Now, one of the things that I want to show you here is this lock here. It's kind of a standard lock. V-Line doesn't manufacture this, but it's pretty clever in the way that it works. Now, resetting this to your own combination is possible too. I'm probably not going to go through too many of the details on that because there are videos out there that show the instructions on how to do that. But what you do here is you have 5 buttons here, but unlike a lot of other keyed safes with a 5-button combination where you just press 1, 2, or 3, or just a combination, you have to hold it down, this actually allows you to not only push one button but multiple buttons at the same time, which significantly increases the total number of combinations, and it's not really obvious when, you know, a button is lined up to release the safe. So what I want to show you here is in its default mode, it's 2 and 4, and then the 3 button, and now I can turn this to open it up. All right, if I go back like this, it's locked, so now I can't open this up. Again, 2 and 4, 3, and now it's unlocked. The other thing I want to show you here is that once it's unlocked, I can actually open up this door right here. But I want to show you how far this door opens up, right? It drops below the surface. So this is meant to be mounted under something so that this can just kind of fall away, just like that. And it comes down almost vertically right there. However, if this were sitting on something like a table or a nightstand, you would not be able to open up this door, right? The table is going to interfere with it, so keep that in mind. You might be saying, hey, I'm just going to use this for my nightstand, I'm just going to use it to throw it in the back of my truck or in my trunk. You know, it really has to be hanging from something, otherwise it's going to interfere with this door. I'll show you the back of the mechanism right here. Okay, so you can actually reset this. There's a little switch right there. That's how you would do that, so you can pick any combination that you really like, and when you close it back up, you just do that, and now it is locked again, right? 2 and 3, unlocked, opened up. Okay, now I want to show you here, this is naked in here, except we do have a felt or some sort of carpet lining like on the bottom. It feels kind of like, you know, traditional mass-produced industrial like floor mats for cars. And it's also on the back, but on the top, bare metal, and on the sides, bare metal. So if you were to put something in here, say this vacuum cleaner extension, if it's moving around, it might hit, all right? But it's going to be quiet when it's sitting right there on the bottom. However, the case did come with this little drawer here. And you can see it also has that carpet material in there. You can see some little tabs on the side. And this fit in here. So it was already in here. I just took it out because you may or may not need it, right? So let's say I open this up. Now what I can do is I can grab the shelf here, this little drawer and pull it out just like that, okay? And so what I don't need to do is necessarily jam my hand in there, right? Now, I can, but let's say I have something that's about this thick, right? I've got about 3 fingers of height here, and if it's 2 fingers, there might not be enough space for me to get my hands in there and get my hand around it. But what this allows me to do is pull out this drawer so that I have access to everything that I need. I can just grab the candy or the Reese's Pieces. In my case, it's going to be Three Musketeers, which is much softer and lighter and fluffier and more delicious. All right, I just don't like the peanuts and the Snickers, and Almond Joy is going to get nowhere near my mouth. But you can definitely put those kind of things there. But if they're full-size candy bars, you know, you might not be able to get your fingers over it, right? But this way, it allows you to pull it out. It also allows you to see exactly what you have there, okay? So that drawer is in there. It doesn't take up much space. Obviously, it's just kind of like carpet on top of another carpet, so that's all that it takes up. Now, I want to show you this top here, because what you can see is we have a couple of square holes and a couple of round holes. And I took off this top plate because I was like, well, it's supposed to be mounted under something, but it doesn't have a mounting plate. And then I realized it's actually attached here. Now, this is what you get here to mount it to something, and it's actually pretty slim. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a lip here, but it's not very thick. We also have some recessed holes here, so you can put some bolts through here, screw this to something, you know, screw it to the underside of a wood desk, right? And then you are going to countersink those screws into here. And then we have some little tabs right there and some threaded receiver holes. So what I want to show you is, let's say I go ahead and bolt this up to underneath the desk or an end table or a hallway table or, you know, inside of a drawer or whatever. Now that I have that, what I can do is I can mount the security box to it, and these little tabs go into those square holes, and now it's slid in. And now what I can do is actually take these little thumb screws that it comes with, and I can open up my safe. And now what I can do is I can screw through the holes that go all the way into the safe into these little receiver holes. So you might be able to see there, and if I just twist them, okay. Now the safe box is actually attached to the mounting plate. To get these off, I would have to obviously open up the safe, undo the little thumb screws, and then I could pull this off, which is kind of nice because then I can remove this plate. And the nice thing is, because they stack, they nest on top of each other, there's really no easy way to get them off. So I can't just steal the whole V-line safe. You know, that's always kind of a concern on some of these when they're not anchored down, that, oh man, well, I can just take the whole thing and figure out how to break into it later. So that's pretty cool. So I'm really excited about this because, one, it's just more massively constructed, just much more secure than I thought it was going to be. Second, you can mount it underneath stuff. And third, I think that this is going to be a way to protect some of those valuables, some of the jewelry that you might have, that loose cash, that original Top Gun DVD, you know, some of those old Disney VHS tapes, whatever you might have, you can definitely put them in here. But if you want to pick up this V-line safety box so that you can access your valuables quickly and still have them secure, I'll put a link to this in the description below. Peter Von Panda, out.